Hello. Welcome, GeorgeAnna.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you. It has been a little while since we have been here with the two of you.
Yeah. Yes.
My pleasure.
We know that there has been high emotion today felt. We are assisting in healing all of you and all of the connections that you have to each other.
Thank you.
We know there are many questions today.
I had a question that I've been thinking about. In the town where I live, it's a very, very old town. And the pioneers, the ancestors of this town were all very healthy. Europeans, Creoles. And the only deaths were natural causes, such as things that medicine can fix now, such as heart attacks. Those people died of old age. At the beginning of my generation, late 40s onward, there's been a major influx of cancer. It's more than significant beyond any average of the area in the state. Cancer, amazing different number of cancers of all kinds. Autoimmune diseases, birth defects. It really has escalated since the 50s. My question is, doesn't seem to be a genetic factor because it wasn't there before this generation.
Correct.
Is there an environmental cause? Like
Yes.
something in the water, or what is going on? Is there some design happening here?
Well, this is caused by the toxins that humans have released into the world. It is caused by not living in the natural way. Everything upon this planet is capable of sustaining life in its own natural form. But as man has developed, he has taken these natural forms and has altered them for use, either with pesticides or with medicines or with military uses, diseases. There are a great number of inventions that are either thought to better our world, that ultimately have caused harm. At first, DDT was used in a widespread way and then outlawed, just as other testing, even nuclear bombs set off in the earth, deep in the earth. And of course, this radiation, this poison as it is. It affects the earth. It affects the soil. It affects the water. And then everyone ingests the food and drinks the water. And also, even the medicine that is thought to improve some lives ultimately causes other issues in the body. So even things that heal can sometimes cause side effects. So even plastic containers that are thought to be harmless are not truly harmless when they break down and get into the soil.
Yeah.
And this has been going on for quite some time now. And the time period you speak of, the 50s, the 40s, this is when this started. And the acceleration, the breakdown and the absorption, the release of these chemicals back into the human body. And then as people have given birth, it has become part of the genetic makeup.
Yeah.
And then again, the next generation absorbs more, either between what we eat, drink, breathe, and it is part of nature. It is, you cannot magically make it go away. There is no magic answer that is going to wipe it away. It is here, and over time, some of it will go away, and other things will come into play. Even the computers, the batteries, all have chemicals in them. And so much is thrown away. In the past, humans lived in a way that the garbage that was left was biodegradable, was able to be easily absorbed back into the planet. And now it is much harder for Earth to filter out these poisons.
Until about 15 years ago, a creosote plant about a mile from my house had been operating since the last war, and just recently the federal government came in, shut it down, and spent 5 years excavating down maybe 500 feet, and they discovered that the poison from the creosote plant had gotten into the water table below our town, and of course below my house here.
Yeah.
And everyone that I know, the people who have moved in and since Katrina, they're okay, but the people who grew up here with that plant going on, constantly putting that poison in the ground
Well, it will be neutralized, but it will take time.
Kind of late for most of us.
It will take time. And this is just like a person who has an allergy. And once exposed to the thing they are allergic to, at first they have a huge reaction to it. But if they have small, we are trying to think of the word, if they are exposed to this thing that they are allergic to in small doses over time, they build up an immunity to it. And eventually, it will no longer affect them. And this will happen also with humans. All of these things that are affecting this generation and the next and the next will not be as detrimental to the following generations, because they will develop immunity to it. Their bodies will develop differently. They will have the ability to absorb the chemicals, and the chemicals will change. Their bodies will have changed. People will look different. They will have different immune systems. This generation and the next are very beneficial to this planet and very important. The people who have come now are doing a service to Mother Earth, to both assist in the chain of changing the way that we treat the earth, as well as assisting in the cleanup. It is as if, which most will not understand this, but some will, the people upon this planet are part of the ecosystem of this earth. The earth is a living being. Just as in your own body there are white blood cells and red blood cells and all different systems that assist in moving fluids and in absorbing toxins and clarifying the blood. This is the same as the earth, the plants, the people on the earth, the animals. They are all, and the trees, everything is all part of the earth's immune system. We are helping to make the earth stronger. That is why, just as the veil has thinned, this is to assist the spiritual knowledge to come through. Eventually, the earth and the people of the earth will accept psychic abilities and mediumship abilities as being a very natural thing. But it will take time. And this generation has volunteered to be the front line in this cause. And we thank them. Do you have another question?
So while we're helping the Earth, our DNA is evolving also.
Yes.
So that's all I needed to know.
And your children's DNA. And as your DNA evolves and you become, everyone becomes dust or is reabsorbed into the earth after leaving the body becomes part of the earth, part of the rain, part of the plants, part of the next generation. It is all quite beautiful.
I see the infinity symbol when you say that.
It is a never-ending process. Some people do not see it this way. They only see that things are getting worse, but they will not get better. We want everyone to know that there is always a cycle. There is always a time when things are peaceful, when things are growing, when things are beautiful. And then there is always a time when things are in decay.
Is all the unrest in the States and overseas part of that cycle?
Yes.
Could you go into that more?
It is all part of the energy and the chemicals that we spoke of earlier that are being absorbed. They are causing some more anger, more uncontrolled emotions, and people are picking sides. This has happened always. There has always been fighting upon this planet. This is because it is valuable. And it is here for that purpose. It is here for people to explore the duality of life. So what is happening is part of a never-ending cycle that will always happen. It is just that sometimes there are periods where it is not in such turmoil. Right now, both the earth itself and the people in it, on it, are feeling this turmoil and are reacting to this. Was there another question, Debbie? I don't know that we answered it for you.
Yes, you did. I understand the duality. And a lot of it just boils down to greed.
Yes. There are some who want everything. And this is okay. There are some who don't need anything, and this is okay. There are some who are happy with whatever they have, and this is okay. But what causes turmoil is when those who want everything, or who believe they deserve everything, are in the same path as others who feel they deserve the same. and they are both fighting over the same piece of land or the same resources.
Do you ever see things going back to the way it was when the Native Americans were here and Mother Earth, Father Sky was respected and taken care of? I mean, are we going to have to go through a total upheaval before this is understood?
This is part of the cycle. Sometimes it takes great events that occur that eventually will refresh and
wake up.
Yes, and to restart the earth anew. This has happened many times upon this planet when things get to a boiling point and boil over. The process of boiling over causes the flame to go out. And without the flame, things cool down. Ultimately, this is what happens upon this planet quite a bit. There is a process of heating up as a volcano would. There is a process of cooling down as the ice does. Unfortunately, at this time, everyone is seeing a process of heating up.
So, if we maintain stability during this process,
the individual,
as most things are connected.
Yes.
And we don't
boil over
or get excited over what is taking place in the world today.
Yes. It will assist in turning down the heat. If every person would take responsibility for their own selves and not focus so much on what's happening with others, if everyone would know that they are responsible for their own peace, for their own joy, for their own balance, and learn to stay centered and learn to not disrupt the world and add to the disruption, then their part of the world will cool down, will calm down. Just as a cut on your leg sometimes becomes infected and gets red and heated, and you can feel the heat if you put your hand on the skin. You can feel the anger. You can feel and see the infection boil and build as it tries to rid itself of the poison, as it tries to heal the place that has been injured. Sometimes this happens with a cut. Usually only it happens if something negative, or something unnatural, something, we can't say unnatural, something counterproductive, like bacteria or a weakness in the body is in that area, that is when an infection begins. That is when the boiling over starts. But then you could be cut in another area of your body, or someone else gets cut, and it heals quickly. There is no infection. There is no heating up. There may be a scab, or maybe not. There may be a scar left, or possibly not one at all. Sometimes people heal quickly and very naturally. And this is because there's no irritant. There is a natural understanding. There is a cooperation that is occurring between all of the cells in the body. There is a belief that healing will take place, and therefore it does. Even the area that is infected, sometimes it will heal and eventually cool off and no longer be irritated or hot. Other times, the area that is infected has to be cut off, has to be removed in order to prevent further infection to spread throughout the entire body. And we know this is hard for most, but this even involves relationships. This is why people go to war. This is why countries fight. Because even a disagreement can cause a boiling over, an area that can either cool off or it can spread and cause the entire world to become engulfed in this fight and in this battle. But if the rest of the world says, enough, and we will not let you go and spread your illness to other parts of the body or other parts of the world, then it can be prevented. Love and peace, friendship, positive thinking, prayer, light, all of these things should be sent to those areas of the world where things are boiling over. It will assist in the healing if everyone jumps in and says, I want part of this war, I want part of this battle, then the infection will spread. We are hopeful that enough people will say, we do not want part of this, and they will stand up and say, enough. You cannot affect us. We will be healed. We know this has been a long explanation, but we are knowing that this information is needed. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for coming.
This,
Said thank you also.
you are welcome.
Yes, I did.
We were in unison.
And we must let Gail know as well that as we speak of the earth and as we speak of the body, we know she has questions in her mind about her own body. And we hope that as we spoke, she understood that we were answering her questions as well.
Yes. Yes, I'm a pioneer. I will benefit others.
We know. All of
I teach it, but don't burn.
this is true. Everyone who experiences the boiling over point, but is able to learn how to calm it down, can then teach it to others.
That's a tall order.
But it is necessary.
And that's why there are the power of 3 here.
Yes. And it will be multiplied.
I have one question. Maybe I could leave it till another time because it might take too much longer because it's just been a very long time.
Go ahead and ask it, Gail.
We are fine.
Just asking it might take a minute at least.
We are okay.
Diane's okay.
We are drinking water today.
Yeah, I'm just about finished my bottle. I had a meditation on Sunday. The last time I was able to do that, and I had a vision, and I wrote everything down afterward. I was in a scene of above pre-life, toddlers on a conveyor belt, souls being thrown into the toddlers' bodies without love, just thrown in. And I was outraged, and I saw one of the children was myself, and I was sitting with my legs outstretched, balancing as a maybe a 6-month-old would. And I looked into her eyes, and behind her eyes was acceptance, unresistance, and a deep depth of despair. And then I went inside to the child. Inside the child, I was looking out, and I could see a map of the United States, and across the entire East Coast to the Midwest, millions and millions of pinpoint lights of all these children coming in at the same time as me. And I started screaming, I must remember this time. Please, no more blank this time. It was in capital letters. I was auto-writing. Then I said, please, talking to the children that were already born into poverty, be it by their choice, their life plan, born into poverty, and I begged them, please, have you at least indulged yourself with that one insurmountable need, that of parents who treasure you, surround you with knowledge of who you are, and show you that love is the most important gift human life has to offer. And then I talked about their energetic forms being pale from lack of nourishment, and then I started screaming again, I must remember this time, and fought the rules. And I was really angry, and I refused to go in blind and deaf this time, because my most effective tool is properly channeling my compassion and love to those I have witnessed who had volunteered to experience this life without the awareness of their value. I will remember, I will find these people, my family, I will find them and struggle to end ego and human ignorance and relieve them of their mission of pain that's not needed in this age of humanity.
Well,
And then I woke up, and there was all this was written down, and that was
We see that this was 2 messages you received. One we spoke of earlier. This is a generation, as we have said, who came in to assist the earth. This is why the population has increased so much. It is what you were seeing. All of these children being born, and they are here for a purpose, to help Mother Earth, to assist in this healing that needs to take place. And then you also saw yourself in your next life, and you are not going to forget. When you come back, you will remember. You will come back with knowledge. You will come back awake from the beginning to assist the planet in the next stage of its evolution. This is both of your lifetimes, this one and the next, that you have seen. In the first, you came in with no knowledge, compliant, and yet you felt a sorrow for these children, correct? As if they were almost being used. Is this correct, Gail?
Yes, I felt it was not necessary to have that life lesson anymore.
Right. But
you don't need to not be loved.
Right.
You don't need to feel cut off.
To feel cut off.
Angry. Yes.
We understand. But this is when you saw all of those children coming forth. That was, you were getting foreknowledge of this conversation that we have just had.
Yeah.
About the earth. About the people.
I'd forgotten all about it until you started talking, and then it all flooded back to me, and I said, oh.
That is why it flooded back to you.
Yeah.
Because you were given a piece of information about how everyone in this generation has been brought forth to assist in the awakening of the planet. But you cannot awaken unless you are asleep at first.
That's true.
In the next time, by the time you come back the next time, you will enter the body awake.
I hope there are a lot of us like that.
There will be. And as we have said, the process of being psychic and being a medium or channeling, connecting with the other realm, the unseen world, will be accepted at that time. And when these children come in and have this knowledge, they will be understood.
That's a relief.
Yes. So this dream was really a vision of both this life and your next.
Where was I when this happened? When I had this vision? Where was I?
You were traveling. You were in the ethers.
Yeah, because I could see the whole earth.
Yes. You also, as all 3 of you can do, you are all able to separate, knowing that you will come back to your body. You all know and have trust that you will be connected, that until you are ready to disconnect, you will not disconnect. You all have control. That is why it is important. That is why the three of you are very important together. That is why your physical body is needing healing. You are going through a process of ridding yourself of the part that is no longer needed, the part that is infected. There is a cleansing that is happening. And as with most, as we have described, there is sometimes bleeding that will occur. There is sometimes infection that will cause a mucus or a discharge to leave the body. This is natural. This is part of the human organism, just as it is part of the earth. Sometimes things have to be expelled. Toxins have to be gathered up and gotten rid of so that they can no longer do damage. This is what is occurring.
I was expelling a lot of anger.
In your vision, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
You're expelling anger even now.
In your physical.
In your physical.
This is what we are saying.
Yeah.
You must let your body heal. Just as we are working on Dianne's body, her body is going through processes of healing. Everyone's body has to do this at times. Some more violently, more dramatically than others. There are some, as we've spoken before, who have perfect bodies, never ill. But then they don't necessarily explore their spiritual world. You have come to a point where it is now time to repair what has been done to your body. And you must allow that to happen. Allow the healing to take place. Trust that you are aware, that you know that there is something that needs to be fixed. And trust that it will be fixed.
Did you have any more questions for that?
No, I'm speechless.
Nah.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Lot to think about.
Yes.
Thank you.
You are welcome. We were aware that this was a very emotional connection today. And we are very grateful to have had this opportunity to be here. And hope that it will not be as long before we connect again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, GeorgeAnna.
You are welcome.
I love you.
We love you. All is well.